In 2008, is when I bought this Hobie Mirage Outfitter tandem setup, a pedal kayak, and since then I've been watching things on YouTube about people putting electric trolling motors into these kayaks. But trolling motor technology's come a long way, and so has lithium batteries, and that technology and the price, and so I found recently that I could go with a 40-pound thrust trolling motor into the kayak. And so in September and October I started buying things and figuring out how to put this all together with help from YouTube, and here's our first test in October. We left the dock back at Skamania Landing and we're heading as far up north into the river as we can get. Here we're going by a blue heron up on the top of this channel marker. He won't last much longer. He'll take right off. They're quite noisy. They have a great prehistoric kind of squawking sound that is their own trademark. And looking back towards Portland there. Continuing up the river. Wanted to see what kind of range this 60 amp battery had. Our plan was to head up river until we had about 60% less left in the battery, and then turn around. Of course, it'd be much less battery usage going with the current, which was true. We used about maybe 20% coming back from up towards the dam where we turned around. Always a beautiful ride on the river. The scenery is always stunning. Looks bluer back towards Portland, just the direction of the sun, and there's back towards Skamania Landing there on the right. Of course, the pedals are still in place in the front of the kayak, so if we got crazy and ran out of electrical power, we still have pedal power to get us to wherever we had departed from. And we're about 95% left. It's a great little capacity meter. Let you know where you're at on battery usage. A real necessity if you're trying to do a electric vehicle, so to speak. Up here, there's point off to Sue's left shoulder. It's a section of the river where it becomes quite narrow and there's really hard current from shore to shore. And I stopped recording a little bit before I got to the corner because it became quite a handful just managing the current. That is partially due to the rudder on the kayak, which has been replaced since then. It was installed and it's coming up on the video in a few minutes. A test quite a few months later. But it is looking kind of threatening, but it was a really beautiful day for October. We were a little chilly even though we had wetsuits on because the cloud would come over the sunshine and the temperature seemed to drop about 5 degrees. So we took off to Baja and spent some months down there, and we got back, and one of the additions to the boat was a 50-watt solar panel, including a charge controller. Here's the prop underneath the boat, and there's we are from the top. This is the circuit breaker and the little sampler behind that runs to the gauge, and here's the battery. That's the size of the battery back there, and that's well bolted down. Of course, the gauge you've seen in action, and where you plug the motor in. All this wiring running through the inside of the hull. Everything's waterproof. This is the controller. And all the wiring now together in one little area. It's in a place where even if there's some water in the boat, it does not affect that. So here's the test of the boat, going the same direction. A couple of days ago on a really nice day. Here's good old Beacon Rock. But on this day, we were going to go kiteboarding. So we were just going to go up here to the point and then pull in there and pump up and go kite surfing here. Doesn't look very windy, but it was actually quite a nice day. And here we are heading back. This little trolling motor does quite well, especially going down the river. You saw that we're pulling a little raft behind us with a couple of kite boards and a couple of kites and a water bottle and a bunch of stuff. And I found that the boat handles that quite well. It's a good way to get a short distance here, but it does really affect the handling of the boat, as you would imagine. Turning radius becomes huge. Not particularly responsive with the rudder. I actually haven't been out with a rudder test on it without the boat behind the kayak. So Sue took it out, and I could tell when she was zipping around out on the river with it just how much more responsive it was. There's old Sue heading back towards Skamania Landing. Okay, she's putting her feet in the pedals, and here's the pedal power. So the kite pump up there on the bow of the boat. Just figure out a way to place all my boards and toys just on the kayak alone. This is the solar panel. This is a flexible 50-watt panel. And super lightweight, so I didn't have to really bolt it down. And we're at 89, and I don't know. We'll be back at the landing in just a couple of minutes. Oh, it looks like we have some entertainment coming up here. Oh, osprey. And looks like he's sitting there eating. He has a fish. Get this close to one. Oh, there he goes. He's having himself a fish. Well, there's the dock up ahead.